Welcome back to the channel, guys. I'm Hank Strange, and this is Stranger Palooza. And today, my 2020 Ford Transit 350 EcoBoost. There's a lot of crows. Let me start that again. Or let me try that again. Okay, so today, my 2020 Ford Transit 350 EcoBoost. First freak out. Yes, my first freak out with this thing happened to me last night. So I'm going to run through this. So for anyone who wants to know, this is a 2021 Coachmen Beyond. So that's the whole coach, the RV side of it. And the issue, I think, has to do with the Ford Transit side of it. So what happened? Last night, this is my daily driver right now, and I'm kind of transitioning from my studio / office space to this. And I think we're approaching about 3,000 miles on this vehicle right now, and I've driven it from here to Texas. That's the furthest trip that I've made, and not come across this problem at all until last night. So last night on the way back home, not pushing it that hard. My commute is about, I'm gonna say 35 miles. When we got back here and I shut this off, and I wasn't hearing this sound before that. When I shut this off, all of a sudden I could hear a constant popping sound. Now, I don't know if you guys can hear that, but the van is making some kind of noise. Now, you know, I've had a bunch of cars. You typically hear the car ticking. This was not a ticking. This was a popping sound, like popcorn, and it was consistent. It went on for a while. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Something obviously is hot in there in the van. I'm gonna put the engine back on and see if I was getting any overheating indicators. That's weird, I've never seen that. I definitely didn't notice anything on my drive. Let's see, where are we? It stopped. Not hearing it right now. Let's see if we have a check engine light. Let me start it up. Okay, the back door is ajar, but other than that, there's nothing going on here. Let me shut that off and open. And it actually went away. Now I'm not hearing it at all. So that is weird. Something didn't shut down properly here. Let me see if I could find the release for the hood. So when I got back home here, something on this vehicle must not have shut down properly. You hear that? It's quiet. I could kind of hear it a little bit. Yeah. Very hot here. I'm gonna try to do this with, the engine is very hot actually. Let's see. I mean, that's what I would expect. It's still making a sound that's not as bad. My fluids look like they're okay. I'm not sure if there's any fluid in this thing, but yeah, something's still popping in there. Okay, I'm gonna work on closing this back door. I'm gonna probably leave my hood open a little while and go in the house. Let me slam this. Okay, and come back here and let this cool down. I mean, let's see. Can't even see to put this back on. Okay, there we go. All right, yeah, I'm gonna let this cool down here for a minute. I feel like some line or something in there overflowed and fell on a hot part of the engine, and that's what we're hearing, but that's my guess of that. We'll have to look into that tomorrow. I would say at least somewhere between 5, 7, 10 minutes, it was just popping, pop, 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 like popcorn popping. So I actually shot some video on my phone, which I will roll in for you guys, but I couldn't figure out what it was. It was coming, I think, from specifically the driver's side of the vehicle, probably. I would say I did open the engine, as you guys could see here, and you'll see in my video when I roll it in, it didn't look like there was anything wrong with the coolant. Coolant looks okay. You know, this level here I really can't see, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. I know we did have a run through. I think there's liquid in there. So we'll check into that, but I don't think it was that. There were no smells coming off of this. There really wasn't any steam or anything coming off of it. The engine was very hot, but you could just hear this popping sound constantly. I actually, so what happened to me was I went back in there and I turned it back on to see if, you know, my temperature gauges or anything like that were out of whack or too high, and that was not the case. And as soon as, and I didn't turn the engine over, I just, you know, put it to the on position without turning on the engine. As soon as I did that, the sound went down tremendously. You could still hear it, and even after I left the hood open, went inside, came back, you could still hear it, but not as constant. I'll roll that in for you. It's been a couple of minutes, and I could still hear it going. I could hear the engine ticking, but I could also hear like it's like a kettle or something that overflowed and something spurting and hitting a hot surface.
It's almost like it's coming from the right-hand side, whatever's pumping.
Yeah, some fluid is leaking. There's a fluid somewhere that's leaking, and it's touching on something very hot.
Well, if so, when you drive up this tomorrow morning, you'll see a leak on the ground.
So something with turning that key to the on position changed the dynamics of what was happening there tremendously. I'm not sure. It really worried me, did really freak me out. Like, why would this vehicle be cooling down like that or popping like that? And what was it, right? There was no smoke, there was no smell of anything. So I didn't know. Now, this morning I did search this, and I think I found a forum where someone with a 2020 all-wheel drive EcoBoost Transit said that they were having the same issues, and I think there were other people, and it may be, from what I see, associated to the AC. And when the AC is running and I guess building up condensation, and you stop and take it off, somehow all that condensation is dropping onto something that's hot inside of that engine or underneath that engine. Somehow it's just all pouring out there, and as that water is hitting, it's making a popping sound like that. And Ford, according to the forum, said it's not a big deal, they're aware of it. So okay, you buy something like this, especially this expensive, and there's a massive popping sound like that, I think that needs some kind of fix. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go to Sunshine State RV. I did speak to Kyle. One of the things that I enjoy about this Sunshine State RV, they specialize in these B-class vans, and very responsive. To be honest with you guys, the folks from Coachmen are also very responsive, and they really care about their customers and all that kind of stuff, have open communication lines. So I spoke to Kyle, who gave me the run through, if you guys have seen it here, and he says, hey, I've never heard of that, bring it in, I want to see it. So I'm going to do that, and I'm going to share that with you guys right now. I'm going to end this saga in like a separate video. This is a completely different day. My favorite thing to drink, Snapple Apple. They don't pay me or anything like that, but you know, I'll be happy if I got a lifetime supply of Snapple Apple. And I think that's the real, these are the real glass bottles versus now they've got the plastic ones. Okay, so with this van, what we were talking about here is the weird sound, the freak out that I had over the sound coming from under the engine, which happened a couple of nights in a row. In this video, I should have already rolled it in for you guys. Actually, the next night from the beginning of this video, where I went out to Sunshine RV, when I came home from the studio, the same thing happened again, and I have video I could run in for you. So I just pulled up here in front of the house. You guys can hear that popping. I'm gonna try to go under here, see exactly what that is. All right, so there you go. It's probably going to be a thing. It's probably going to be a thing from now on, now that I've discovered it. But it's definitely doing it. And I think it's on the driver's side. It's not so much on this passenger side here. Actually, it sounds like it's in the middle of this. Yeah, so I would say it's been raining, so definitely there's water and stuff like that. And I was also running the air conditioning, so it might be the combination of both, the humidity, etc., etc. So let me start with Sunshine RV. I went back there. I actually had those guys take a look at this to see if they could see anything big going on. They didn't think there was anything major going on there, and they themselves agreed that there's some kind of condensation that is dropping onto the manifold or whatever that is. They did try calling up Ford, which basically Ford had like a 3-week waiting list for them to take a look at the van to see anything specifically going on with it. So we didn't sign up for that yet because still don't think it's a big deal, but they couldn't get anything out of Ford. So I reached out to Coachmen, and they actually did some looking for me, And what I've gotten back from them so far is pretty much the same thing. I'll read it from you guys. This is from Nick Riccio over at Coachmen. All the guys at Coachmen are really easy, friendly to communicate with. Same thing with the folks over at Sunshine State RV. I don't know about my local Ford dealership yet. And I'm not sure I would use the one in Gainesville with their 3 week long line before they take a look at your vehicle. So Nick said, still haven't heard anything definitive outside of this is a common noise from condensation on the manifold. I still have Ford digging into it, as sometimes this could be a scripted response. I will keep in touch with you. Safe travels. So and this is really what I think is happening now. It's been a little cold lately, and temperatures being going up and down like big shifts. And then with where we live out here in the country versus in Gainesville itself, there's probably, I'm going to say, at least a 5-degree shift by the time we get back here. So what I've been doing air conditioning wise is actually kind of running it in the middle, so not on full cold. So I don't know if that has anything to do with anything, but it seems like it happens at night when it's like that. I pull up to park and you can just hear those water droplets just hitting the manifold or whatever is really super hot underneath there, and it's just making a pop sound, right? So it's not a hissing sound, it's like a straight up pop. And for me, initially when this happened, I'm used to vehicles ticking a little bit when you park them. It freaked me out, but I just want to say to you guys, I'm not so freaked out anymore. I don't think it's a big deal. I would be curious, right, Lola, to know if folks out there are having the same issues. Do you have these Ford Transit vans that you're using for work or whatever else, and you have the same issue? Do you have another vehicle? I actually heard from one person said that they have another Ford vehicle with the same engine, and this happens sometimes. Do you have another one of these Coachmen Beyonds or any Ford Transit van like this that you're having the same issue? Because I think it's just a common thing. And I don't want to say it's a flaw necessarily in the design or engineering, but it's definitely a missed opportunity, right? Because that is kind of like the way that's happening, and happening for 5 minutes, maybe 7 or 10 minutes on end like that. I can see how that freaks people out. So let me know if you're having the same issues, if you ever came up with a solution for that, if Ford ever told you anything about it. Personally, I'm going to say I was freaked out, not so much anymore. And therefore I will take a sip of my apple juice. That's refreshing. I'm not kidding. This is the best. I've been doing this since I was a kid. Lola's rolling her eyes right now. It's really, really good. Snapple apple. Let me know, what's your favorite brand of Snapple? Mine is Snapple apple. Could not beat it. Okay, plus it rhymes. All right, so listen. Please subscribe to the channel here. Leave a comment. Smash the thumbs ups. I'm gonna try to do as many videos as I can on this, kind of like vlog style, to keep up with you. So either it'll be me and Lola in there, or just me, or whatever. We have a couple of slight upgrades we're gonna do to this, and probably we'll do like 5 things we like, 5 things we hate kind of video coming up. So make sure you smash that subscribe button. Thanks so much. Cheers.